very nice person, but deep inside we have egoistic, destructive desire which wants everything for itself. And that is the destructive force of reality. And it was given to us by the Creator. It was given to us so we can overcome it, so we can rise and reach the degree of the Creator. So evil is only our ego. Question from Need to Know. Good to see you here again. We can achieve the equivalence of form if we unite in prayer and remain forever in it. Yes, absolutely. If we unite in prayer right now, we can attain this force of equivalence of form. We can connect to the highest forces of reality, the strongest, most powerful forces that have in them the ability to change everything. A question from Tora Joe, developing the device. How? Please? Okay, that's a good question. That's not for this session, how to develop that device. I recommend, maybe Rachel, you can put in a link to Reveal Kabbalah Secrets, Kabbalah Explained Simply session. I discussed that there, how to develop that device. So it's the Kabbalah Explained Simply Reveal Secrets in 57 minutes, something like that. You can post the link in the chat. Okay. Let's see what else. Okay, question from Crystal James. Gil, can you get everyone watching this show now all around the world to stop for about 3 minutes and connect worldwide to say a prayer for world peace? Great question, Crystal. That's exactly what we're going to do now. We're going to do that not for 3 minutes, but for 30 minutes. We're going to be reading, connecting, and praying. That's the session today. So I think, with no further ado, we can jump right into it. And I chose some excerpts from the book of Zohar. Some seem slightly harsh even, but let's remember that we're reading the book of Zohar. And the book of Zohar was written from the deepest point of connection by Rashi and his students. And even more so, he said that the writing of the book of Zohar was written from states of Rashi's students being in war between them. And by discovering this war, they were then able to overcome. And feeling the state of war and being able to overcome it, that is the purpose of it. Then you discover A, the true desire in nature, B, the need for the force of nature to lift you, and C, the discovery of light out of darkness. So all of that we can do right now. Everyone, all around the world, men, women, young, old, all religions, Christian, Jewish, Buddhist, Muslim, atheist, doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. We're connecting above everything. Let's do it. And let's add a little bit of Kabbalistic music in the background to help us focus our attention. Zohar Beshalach 251. We should regard the words of the Torah. We should regard everything, because there is nothing in the Torah that is not implied in the high or the and there is nothing in the Torah that does not contain several secrets, reasons, roots, and branches. 252. Anyone who wages a war in the Torah is rewarded with much peace at the end of his words. All the wars in the world are strife and destruction, and all the wars of the Torah are peace and love. As it is written, therefore, it is written in the book of the wars of the Lord, I have in Sufa, meaning love in its end, soft in its end in Hebrew, and there is no love and peace but that. Therefore, it is written in the book of the wars of the Lord. What is in the book? The Creator has a place called the book, which is Malkut. All the powers and all the deeds that the Creator does depend upon and stem from there. Okay, you were supposed to actually see this. Apologies. Now you will. Let's read a little bit more. There. He will keep the feet of his holy ones. It writes his holy ones without Yud, which means a holy one. Abraham, with whom the Creator always went, so that others would not be able to harm him. But the wicked ones are silenced in darkness. Those are the angels that the Creator killed on the night when Abraham chased him. what ends the war. This is what can change reality. And when we do this together, we multiply the impact of this according to how many people we are. Because when we're not just reading the book of Zohar ourselves, when we are connecting with other people, and all of us together are reading this book with the same intention, we're not only connecting to the source of this book, we're connecting to a much greater system called the collective soul. And this collective soul is our perfected state. This collective soul is the state that we came from and that we need to go back to. And when we are together in this, when we connect among each other and together connect to this reading, then we begin to be similar to this system up here. And the result, everything we do, is amplified. So let's go back to reading and praying. Praying for what? For world peace. For winning the war. For winning this battle of internality versus externality. Of raising the importance of love above ego, above hatred. And that has the power in it to end all wars. Let's keep reading. Item 361, Book of Zohar, Vayera. It writes, a silenced in darkness, which means night, Nukva, which was connected in the darkness and killed them. Abraham chased, and the night killed him. As it is written, and he divided himself against them by night, he and his servants, and struck them. And he divided himself against them by night. He's the Creator, who split the Rachamim, mercy, from Din, judgment, to avenge Abraham's vengeance. This is why it's written that the wicked ones are silenced in darkness. It is written, and struck them. But it should have said, and they struck them, in plural form, since it was Abraham and his servants who struck them. However, it is the Creator who struck them. For not by force does one prevail, for he and Eliezer were alone. Eliezer is 318 in Gematria, meaning the 318 who were born in his household that the writing mentions. Just a reminder, every single word here is not talking about this world, it's only talking about spirituality, and it's only talking about the forces that are within. And that's where everything can change. 362. Where there is harm, one should not rely on miracles. And there is no such place where harm is found as when Abraham went after the 4 kings, chasing them and waging war on them. Why did he rely on a miracle? When Abraham went into it, he did not go to wage war or rely on a miracle. Rather, Lot's anguish drove him out of his home, and he took money with him to redeem him. And if he could not redeem him, he would die with him in captivity. But when he went, he saw divinity shining before him and several armies of angels around him. Then the Creator chased them and killed them, as it is written, that the wicked ones are silenced in darkness. He will keep the feet of his holy ones, was Abraham. And when he went to fight the kings, Isaac bonded with him, and they fell before him. Had Isaac not bonded with Abraham, he would have been unable to destroy them. It is written that the wicked ones are silenced in darkness, since it is not by force that one prevails, although the force is always the right, Abraham. If the right was not mingled with the left, Isaac, the kings would not be defeated by him. 364. He will keep the feet of his holy ones. When a person loves the Creator loves him in everything he does, keeps his first of all, that a lot of you are writing blessings in the chat, which is great. Keep doing it. If you want to express yourself, even in a word, in the chat, then go ahead, do so. Excuse me. So please do it. Connecting to my beloved friends, Boomer is writing. Yes, let's think of all of the people now who are experiencing great suffering in the world. Let's hold them in our intention everywhere in the world, especially in the war zone now. We know that there are millions that are suffering now in Ukraine, and not only in Ukraine. That's where the serious things are happening now, but all around the world there are people suffering, and all the wars and all the pain, they all stem from the same thing, that lack of connection. So let's take a few seconds, even without reading anything, just close your eyes if it helps you focus, and let's just think of all of those people and everything and everyone that is in pain. And let's intend, let's pray for them. Let's pray that instead of pain filling reality, light will fill reality. Let's pray that we'll discover this light is already everywhere, all around us. Let's do that together. Let's take a few seconds. Now I see that you're already kind of naturally writing in the chat. I'd like you, everyone that's watching now, and now can be any point in time. It can be on the 13th of March, or it can be in April, or in 2025. I don't care when. Now you're part of this prayer, wherever now is. This prayer is above time and above space. I want you to chip in to this prayer by adding something. Let's add this prayer in the chat now. So add a few words. It can be a heart, it can be a word, it can be a sentence. Let's build this mutual prayer together. What are we praying for? What do we want to achieve by this prayer? Why are we praying? So I'd like to ask everyone to add something, to throw something in the chat, to participate, even just a heart, just participate. Show your intention by doing an action. I'll start with you, Elise. Let's pray. Creator shows us how to cover and love aggressors in the corporeal world and makes our brothers and makes as our brothers and sisters. Julie, I'm praying with tears. Ruth, amen. Francine, together. Jude, light. Sandra, peace. Louise, I pray for connection and love between us all. We are here with the same intention. Shira, pray for yourself, for we are all suffering together. Lara, peace, love. Ali, may we all attain peace within. Johnny Joseph, connection. Moon, goddess, imagine peace is better to sow life. Sue, let love descend on earth. Comedy favorites, love will always win. Alan, blessing to you all of the world, including all of humanity. James, let there be peace on earth. Louise, together we are mighty. True. M, peace between all of us. Alexander, love, peace, together. Rick, I'm praying for peace and love for all. Mike, nothing better than joining together as ambassadors of love and peace. You know what I'm. So this is not a regular broadcast. We usually don't do broadcasts on Tuesday at all. But in light of the current times, that there was a positive force. Let's think of it as forces, because when you say God, then we usually start thinking about what we learned in Sunday school or at church or in the synagogue or wherever. And Kabbalah does use the word God or the Creator, but it only refers to a force. It doesn't refer to some humanized entity with a beard who's watching over and saying behave or you'll be punished, you'll go to heaven or hell. None of that exists in Kabbalah. It all refers to forces of reality. So being, or it's a vessel, it's matter, some kind of spiritual matter. Okay? And this spiritual matter is in the form of a collective soul. It's called, it has a name, it's called the soul of Adam HaRishon. And in this soul of Adam HaRishon, this collective soul, everything, all of creation, you could say anything that was created was that, nothing else. So this is all of the spiritual existence before we even had our world. Now, the collective soul, it shattered. The collective soul, for those of you who are a little more advanced, it's in the world of Atzilut. I'm not going to go down into the world, but there are 5 worlds in total: Atzilut, Bria, Yetzirah, Asiyah, and Akadmon, which is the first one. It's like the Keter, but we're not going to go into that now. The collective soul was in the world of Atzilut. The collective soul shattered into pieces, 600,000 pieces, in the world of Asiyah. Those of you who know what that is. And 600,000, because it's in the spiritual world, doesn't mean, don't imagine 600,000 pieces, think of it more as a qualitative measure. And then it further broke these 600,000 pieces of that same collective soul into what we are today. 8 billion or something, that's our number, humanity. So 8 billion parts of that collective soul, imagine that. And each and every one of us, each and every one of you, has a little piece, a shattering of that collective soul. So our origin is being all connected, all as one, connected to each other, not only that, connected to this force of light and love. So in this state, light and love fulfill this creation, this vessel, this collective soul. And you might be saying, wait a minute, so if the soul existed and it was already filled with light and love, why do you need to change anything? Why not? That's it, sounds good, right? Who doesn't want to be connected, surrounded with the infinite fulfillment of light and love, right? So what happened? Something happened. It's not something that's lesson, but in a nutshell, it's a breaking, a shattering, in order to enable a higher level of building. Just like you take a puzzle, right? With a puzzle. A puzzle is really shattering. You take a nice picture and you break it up into pieces. What for? It's already, the picture is already there. Why cut it up to 5,000 pieces or whatever? Right? It sounds a bit weird. So, because building the puzzle, it gives something extra. When you build the puzzle, I don't know, however many, 1,000 pieces even, and you build that, just, some image. It doesn't necessarily have to be something so beautiful. Just, I don't know, just imagine a boat in a river with mountains behind it and flowers and whatever. Nice. And if you take that ready-made picture and put it on the wall, okay, that's one thing, could be nice. If you build it out of 1,000 pieces and then put it on the wall, you already feel some fulfillment from doing that action. Something similar happened here. In order to give this collective soul the ability to rise even higher to the status of this actual force, then it broke it in order for it to be able to rebuild itself independently, consciously. Okay? So, if we follow what Kabbalists say, then you could say that the shattering, this state of shattering, which, to clarify, this state of shattering is the only cause for all wars in the world. It's not some Hamas terrorist organization, it's not some dictatorship army, it's not. Those are tools in a broken system, observed by our shattered perception. So the only cause is our shattering, the fact that we have been broken into pieces. And the symptoms of that are the horrors we see today in Israel and, in fact, all around the world over time. And these horrors are only a result of the fact that we are shattered, we're broken. And it's not that you're broken or I'm broken. Actually, not. You're perfect. I'm not, but you are. It's our connection that's broken. And in fact, I will say that is the only thing that needs to be done. The only thing. Any diplomatic effort, any military efforts, all of those things that need to be done in order to deal with the symptoms. So imagine that you're ill and you have some, some infection. So you need to take antibiotics, right? Antibiotics hits the infection directly. But you could have symptoms. You could have a rash. So you might want to put some cream on the rash, right? So putting on cream, it will solve your symptom. Just like using some military or government or political or anything like that. Kabbalists don't say, everyone should just forget it and sit aside. No, you're going to do what you're doing in this world to deal with the symptoms, to deal with them efficiently and effectively, yes. But to know have here in terms of questions. Maybe it's a good time to mention, I see we have viewers on Facebook and YouTube. Let's bring more people into this now. Let's have more people join us. Imagine the impact. More people together, reading this force, connecting to the force of light and loving reality. How can you do that? You can probably press the like, or if you can even share this video, that would be great. Even if you're watching this not live, the impact it has is similar, because spirituality is about time and space. So if you're watching this a week from now, a day from now, a year from now, you're connecting to that same frequency, and that frequency is about time. So let's take a quick look, see if we have any questions about what I've spoken until now. Okay. To be conscious, I'll just read a comment because it's nice, it's heartwarming. Dear, pardon me for chatting, but I really have to say, I really admire the spirit you hold right now. All things considered, much respect. I appreciate that. It is very difficult times here, and it's easy to fall kind of into, like pretty much like depression or despair. I feel now energized because I feel your connection and I feel your support, not for me, but support for the process that we're all going through together. So I appreciate that, and let's increase with love. Okay. So there is a question here, unrelated to topic. For now, I just want to focus on questions on what I explained. And okay, so right now there are no questions. Let's continue. Let's explain what the Zohar has to do with everything I just said now. Let's keep going. Okay, so this structure hopefully is clear. Now, let's just make some more room. Actually, let's keep doing this one. So I'm just going to delete this out. Actually, okay. Still have one. All right. So who are the Kabbalists that were in the book of Zohar? Rashbi and his students. 10 of them, in fact. So imagine 10 of these broken, shattered pieces sitting together in a cave, or wherever they sat. All of them Kabbalists, all of them attained this reality, this structure. They all attained it individually, and collectively they connected. And by connecting, they became one with this reality. They became one with the collective soul, with the general force of nature. Call it the creator, call it light, call it energy, call it love, call it whatever you want. Just know that it's the positive force of reality. It's the plus of reality. Okay, and when they connected and together, they wrote this book. Every single word they wrote in it and encoded is a link, a connection to this reality. Every single word in this book, every single word, every single comma, everything they wrote is a direct link to this reality. Okay. Now, when we read the book of Zohar, okay, so that's them. That's the Rashbi and his students. 10 students who wrote the book together. And let's say now, 2023, October 17, 8:26 p.m. Israel time. Or actually, I said it's about time, so scratch my comment. But right now, that's the time in the corporeal world, the material world. We're going to open the book of Zohar. We're going to read some text from the Zohar. Now, reading the text isn't something that automatically brings a result. You see in academia, people study this text so that they correctly their soul know. So what do we need to do? We need to be like these guys. We need to want to be like them. We need to want to connect to what they did. We need to read the book and every word hold a common intention to connect to here, to where they wrote it from. And these efforts of ours connecting to here, they bring a response from that reality. They bring a response called the light that reforms, or the light that returns to good. Actually, I like that word better. It's a light that returns us to good, okay? That's what it is. Light that returns us to good. Just not have too much text here, but that's what this light is. And this light influences us as we read. If we read together, we're amplifying its effect. Not twofold, but infinite fold, 613 fold, or whatever. Why infinitely fold? Because when we connect, every link of that connection, it's not that, okay, we double, we triple, no. Every link, it strengthens our connection to this entire system. 600,000 shattered pieces. So when we read together, and we intend to connect in order to be similar to that corrected state, to the state that we were in, to the collective soul, to our connection between each other, above differences, above religions, above nationalities, above languages, above ages, above anything. That effort of ours, it attracts this force on us. And even that, when we're just talking about it, even that, if we're listening and we want it to touch our hearts, and we want it to influence us, and we want to be connected to that system, and to the doubles, and to each other, and to the text, which they're able, the text helps us, because the text is like, it's encoded from that world. So it has like an additional force in it. And by doing so, we don't just draw light upon ourselves. We draw light on the entire system of reality. Everything, the whole world. The whole world. When we sit here now, all of us together, from around the world, like in a circle, think of it in your head, it doesn't matter where we are, and we read the book of Zohar, and we want to connect to this state. We want it to influence us. We want it to wash us, to fulfill us, etc. By doing so, let's just make it this. We bring light, this reality, on everything in this reality. Everything, this entire reality, is influenced by this light. That's why it says that a single person can shift the entire world to a scale of merit, or vice versa. Okay, so let's see what we have here. First of all, just continue with your beaks if you have any questions, and then we'll jump right into reading the Zohar. Okay. Okay. So someone's asking, must the Zohar be a group of 10, or can one person read with the intention? Yes, as explained, one person can read with the intention. A 10 is a spiritual concept. Even if we're now 5,000 people together, we can be as one 10, because the 10 resembles a complete structure, like the structure of the 10 Sefirot, and it is stronger together. And together, it means that even if you're reading alone, you want to be connected to this system. That also means together. Okay, let's read. Let's read a bit of the Zohar. Let's remember our intention while doing so. Let's think of the others. And let's read maybe a few quotes to help us align our intention. So we'll start off with Rabbi Moshe from the book Degel Machane Ephraim. With a couple of us, then he gives us a little bit about the Zohar. He says, the language of the Zohar remedies the soul, even when one does not understand what it says at all. It's similar to one who enters a perfumery. Even when he does not take a thing, he still absorbs the fragrance. Okay, let's have a look at another one. Okay, let's read the second one. It's also a nice one. One who is not rewarded with understanding the Zohar should read nonetheless, for the words purify the soul and illuminate it with wondrous brightness. Nice. Okay, so let's start off with reading the Zohar. Now, some of the excerpts, they talk about love, some talk about war, some talk about this world, seemingly, some talk about peace, some talk about things that we might think we can associate with things we know, like colors or things like that. Just a reminder, it speaks only of a spiritual reality and nothing else. So let's jump right into it. I will put some soft background music while I'm reading. Let me know if it's too loud. I'm not sure what the volume here is. So if it's too loud or too soft, let me know. We'll read some with, some without, just to experience both. The music is also Kabbalistic music, by the way, so it's also written by Kabbalists according to the same method for attaining their urged musical notes. Okay, let's read the Zohar. Let's play. How do we play? Okay. Play. Yes. Still reading my headphones on. I can hear them. We should regard the words of the Torah. We should regard everything, because there is nothing in the Torah from connecting to one another. That's the only way it exists. And fighting and winning that war is winning all the wars, turning the entire world to a scary parent. So let's not go back to Leon, and let's take maybe quick guidance from Rabbi Shainer Zalman of that. What does Rabbi Zalman suspect? So he says, Michael Gate is extensive. You should dedicate the majority of the study to the Zohar, even though they don't understand. So why should you care if you don't understand? If it is, Skula. Skula is like a remedy expression. So okay, that's actually okay. Let's keep reading. Let's see. Okay now. So to make it a bit lower. Let's read it more. Let's read what's intent. Sarah went by way of disputing, which is removing and repelling above and below. And one who wishes to repel the correction of the world is lost to all worlds. A dispute is removing and repelling of the peace. One who disagrees with peace disagrees with his holy name, since his holy name is called peace. Since the world stands only on peace, when the Creator created the world, it could not exist until he came and established peace on the Sabbath, which is the peace of upper the world. Then the world existed. Hence, one who disagrees with peace will be lost for the world. 8. Those who love the law have great peace. The Torah law is peace, as is written, and all her ways are peace. Okay. Let's keep going. Let's keep going, and let's try and connect even more specific. Everyone who's watching now could be this moment or any moment in time that you're watching this now, from wherever you are. Let's connect to each other to a single common desire, and let's pray. Let's pray to be as one. Let's pray to be connected to this powerful force that will just light up all of humanity. That's all that's required, to light up, to bring this light, this positive force in nature. You see that the negative forces overcome, and then they're expressed in these symptoms that we see. Like we had COVID with the symptoms, all these wars, what's happening in Ukraine, what happened now in Israel, it's still happening, and all of these things are symptoms. So let's pray that we will, let's pray that everyone will feel closer, will feel more connected. In Kabbalah, there's a saying that you don't want your enemies to die, you want them to repent. You want the whole world, all of reality to be connected in love. So let's make this so strong that it will wash over everything. This love will cover all crimes, all transgressions. And it will lift us. So let's read the Zohar together. The gate over the beak. These three sons of Noah are the persistence of the entire world. And from these, the whole world is first. For all the souls of people come from them, because they are the meaning of three upper colors in Bina. The three lines of the river that stretches out of Eden, Seraphim, watered the garden with a crop. It watered her by the order of these three upper lines. From the upper Bina, there colors spread: white, red, and black. And when you look into the breeze, you will find how the colors spread all as she wanted to say, all the friends who not love each other cause themselves to stray from the right path. Moreover, they put a blemish in the Torah, since there is love, brotherhood, and truth in the Torah. Abraham loved Isaac, Isaac loved Abraham, and they were priests, and they were both gripped. Jacob loved brotherhood and were giving their spirit to one another. Friends should be like them and not blemish them. For if love is lacking in them, they will blemish their value above. That is, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, which are.
Yeah.
Kitover.
Hey, what's up? How's it going?
Man, how you doing, buddy?
I'm good. What are you doing?
I love when people give me shit because you're my friend. I love it. I always tell him he's a hero. He's a public servant of the act.
It's interesting. People try to like insult you by claiming association with me as if, you know, like we have some great friendship or something. We're like clubhouse associates or something. It's like people are so petty and pathetic.
Yeah, I think you're hilarious, dude. And you know, Alan likes that you come to his room. He likes it.
Yeah, he's, you know, I like everybody, but the thing is, it's like everybody should be given a chance to, you know, provide their opinion.
No, absolutely. You know, guess who I'm gonna hang out with today?
You're gonna hang out with Abby.
How did you know that?
Because I talked to her yesterday, and she was like, "Oh yeah, I've met Scott." She's like, "I'm gonna hang out." I'm like, "You know he wants to bang you, right?" She's like, "Ooh."
No.
She's like, "Ooh."
No. No, you didn't say that.
Yeah, I said that.
And she said, ooh.
She said, "Ooh, well, I've already hung out with him."
Yeah, but that was before I lost 60 pounds. And she's like, I look amazing right now.
Damn, 60 pounds, holy shit.
Bro, I lost I'm like in incredible shape right now. I'm floating around like 189, 190.
What was the psychological change you think?
I just got back to working out. The thing is, I knew I could do it. After my divorce and just COVID and shit, I just was like, oh, thank you, man. Thank you very much for saying that. I appreciate that. Somebody just told me I look good. But, I just like basically, just got back into it. I was like, I could do this. And I started working out and I pushed through the awful first couple months. And it is hard. It's hard. It's hard. Beautiful. Good for you. Good for you, man. Yeah, so you know, like I had this friend of mine who's fitness coach. She's really good. She helped me think through some stuff as far as like, I switched, like, I was doing a lot of HIIT stuff, and I switched from HIIT. First off, she had me doing HIIT with more weights, and then she moved me off of HIIT with weights into like just heavier weight circuits, and that has been huge. The last like 25 pounds I've put on muscle too, and so like it's been huge. So basically I work out every day, and I do like today I did like jump rope for like 10 minutes at home, then I did like a 40-minute bis and tris workout, and then I went to the gym and did like 40 minutes of cardio and so the other day. So I'm getting pretty athletic today. So Andy, when you said I want to bang, she wasn't grossed out by it. A joke at her.
Are we talking about like a 70-year-old woman not right now?
Yeah, she's not 70, she's like 60.
Well, anyways, I'm just teasing. I mean, you know, I don't even know if she heard me when I said that.
Alright. You get my hopes up, buddy.
Well, you know, you're the guy. I mean, you're the guy, you know, who's meeting her, so it's up to you to determine.
She did say that we're hanging out.
Wow.
She said that though?
Yeah, she said that.
And then you said he wants to bang you.
I think I said something along those lines.
And then she said, oh, I gotta go, buddy. I'll call you back. Wait.
First of all, Wall Street Journal
This is really,
is
this is the cure.
is a conservative piece that leans to all the conservative rhinos
Okay.
for clarification.
Yeah, that
So they don't hold water for MAGA at all,
I clicked the
let alone
live
Maha.
button, so I should be
So
live
just so
now.
you know kind of where they stand.
Confirm.
Agreed.
We already have a few here. Gavin's there.
And that's important to know. What she's going to do, like any good journalist, are going to try to find cracks in there. And just, Eagle, your answer is what the average people are going to say he's not doing enough. And he got the COVID vaccine off. That was priority one. Priority one. All right?
Universal
Secondly,
Occultism Channel.
he is
new
taking
books
on
every week. If you want to pass
the
this
most
knowledge on, leave a like and
incestuous
subscribe to the channel.
big pharma government collaboration that's ever been created, other than the military industrial complex. He's taken that on.
Through a
There is a ton of backlash, a ton of fucking tiptoeing that he's got to do to get that in order to go after the rest of that schedule, that vaccine schedule. So he just can't, with a stroke of a pen, just say, hey, it's gone. The fallout would be absolutely insane. You don't even know what he's up against in threats. None of us do. So, but the fact that he got the COVID vaccine off as quick as he did and the other things that he's doing, I think he's definitely on the right track. And the fact that this is coming out before the school year tells me it's that important to him. If he brought it out in December, he would make it an annual, a new project starting in January, This is still urgent for him. That's just my opinion. So I just wanted to share that and clarify a few points.
Yeah, for sure. And we've got a bunch of hands raised. I just want to say thanks everybody for coming to the preservation of the human race. If you haven't already, please join the preservation of the human race community. We talk about everything from medical freedom and health advocacy and nutrition to we talk about politics and current events, as well as supernatural, UFOs, and paranormal types of conversations as well. So everything that's entertaining, everything that's informational, everything that's educational, we pretty much cover that. So please join the preservation of the human race. We're already almost at 1,000 members. So every single person that has joined already, you are amazing. Thank you so much for joining the community, and you have contributed to being one of the first 1,000 members on this platform. So we've got some hands raised. We've got some awesome people in the audience. Just want to shout out everybody in the audience that I see. I'm sending some invites up. And I just want to say a special thank you to the News Robert F. Kennedy Jr. parody account that came into the room to listen in. What a big supporter. He's got like 250,000 followers. And we'll go with Ed first. Ed, welcome to the stage. Trying to keep it brief. We got to get through like 4 people.
Well, thanks, Augustus. Went through your draft that you posted down there, and people don't know I come from agriculture, especially regenerative agriculture and the food systems. And what I noticed from skimming through the draft was not one mention of regenerative agriculture and a mention of precision agriculture. That's at the very end of the page 18. And precision agriculture is the industrial system. So in other words, they promote all the pesticides, all the sides, all the synthetic fertilizers, all that sort of stuff. They try to do a little bit of more precision application, which doesn't solve much of the problems. Certainly doesn't solve nutrition problem, which is something that regenerative ag has done a lot of research on. We know that the nutritional density of what's grown on farms is down around the 10th and 20th percentile of what it could and should be. And that's what cuts plants were so weak that they couldn't be resistant to anything, whether they were soil pathogens or insects or weed infiltration or anything like that. Once we brought the health of our plants up by learning how to do that, by getting the proper nutrition, the proper biome in the soil and the plant, all of a sudden our plants are incredibly resilient. We don't need the sides anymore. We don't need a lot of the synthetic nutrients anymore. So, I've never heard Brooke Rollins, which is our Secretary of Ag, use the word regenerative once. It's a huge movement. It's now over many, many millions of acres. Farmers are actually able to make a buck, clean their water, clean their air, produce good food that is healthy. We've done the metabolomics on it. We know what the nutrient density problem is, except it's not addressing it at all in that draft. So, big red flag, but it's been expected, you know. We don't solve the problem with USDA and our food, then farmer keeps thriving. And so people have less resilience all the time, and we cut vaccines, which really don't work. I mean, the concept is good, but it's probably not needed if we were healthy. But what's going to happen is people are going to continue to get sick, and they're going to need some kind of treatment solution that'll obviously be drugs. So I'll end it there.
Okay, thanks for sharing. Nimni says you. What's up?
Hi, how you doing? Remember, they're going to try to divide everybody. And one of the things for recovery in any vaccine injury is taking care of your gut biome, and your gut biome starts in the soil. So, we have to, help the MAHA regenerative movement as much as we can. And remember, it's baby steps, one thing at a time. In terms of what they're doing all they can. We are up against Goliath, all right? These guys have more lobbyists than anybody else, and they have the money. But we have to create the political will that will allow this administration to do things. And that means contacting the senators, contacting these committees. Whenever there is a committee meeting, there's always an online portal where people can go and make comments. And whenever I look at that, the other side is, blasts them. And that's one thing they have that's really good is the mechanism to contact the representatives, the congressmen, the senators, the committees. And we have to learn to do that so that we create the political will for them to do what is needed in terms of not only vaccines, but in also the regenerative farming, the cutting back on the pesticides, because that is what kills our gut biome. And without a healthy gut biome, you are not going to heal, regardless. And if you have a messed up gut biome, that affects your mental health. You're more prone, and you will get depressed. You will have anxiety. And it's just so important. It's all connected. But the thing is to remain positive and support. I believe that a lot of this nonsense comes from the wicked witch of the White House, that woman with the white hair. I don't even like to say her name. She's the best at what she does. And she is a complete pharma and pesticide. They're all the same companies. She's a pharma whore. All right? And a pharma whore will do anything for money. Anything. They have sold their soul for money by, killing Americans, by poisoning Americans, and they continue to do that. But the thing is to remain resilient and, give support to these people who are working their asses off trying to do things. Can you imagine how many death threats they get daily from these nonsense people? And they're starting to call people we're in a cult. And I just look at that and I go, they're going to throw the mud. Please review the propaganda techniques. And once you learn to see them, once you see it, you can't unsee it. But the strength is the strength in the numbers from people who support, cleaning up not only the vaccine schedules, but also the toxic pharmaceuticals like Ozempic that are out there and, damaging people and killing people. but also back to our soils and back to our food supply. Control the food, you control the people. And these people have the means to go after everything, but we have to remain united and support each other. And that's like the gut biome starts in the dirt. You know, if you want a healthy gut biome in a healthy population, you need healthy dirt. It's that simple. But thank you for all the work you're doing, Augustus. And while it seems like, you know, like we've been at this for what, 5 years? There are people who've been at this for 30 years. This goes back a long way. And there are many people who've broken the trail for us. And it's going to take people like you who are focused on keeping moving it forward, because you're fresh blood to this movement. Can you imagine people who've been at this for 30 years, you know, and the same issues? And it's going to take that kind of determination to make the positive changes that will result in, you know, better pharmaceuticals, that will result in clean dirt, in a better food supply that's no longer poisoned. But thanks for the space, and thanks for all the work you do, Augustus.
Wow, thanks so much for the kind words. I really appreciate that. And yeah, you know, honestly, to be real with everybody, I feel like as if, you know, we've been focusing on the food, we've been focusing on the agriculture, on regenerative farming for this whole administration so far, for the past 6 months, for the past 185 days, or 95 days, however many it's been, and we haven't really been giving the vaccine and big pharma the right attention, and I think it's because that they've been basically behind the scenes combing everything with a fine-tooth comb and doing their own studies and basically compiling evidence in order to stop the shots. And this leaked Maha report is the beginning of the end of the big pharma cabal, the big pharma agenda to basically inoculate and vaccinate.
You're gonna create a John Kitover account? Cool.
So with that being said, we do have
I need to clone myself. Thank you for being the first replicant voluntarily at that. Thank you, replicant Aaron.
Give them guys a follow. They're great guys. I've known them both for around 5 or 6 years. Both of them have created huge platforms, so definitely give them a follow on X and help them create a big platform here on X. So with that being said, Beck Lover, you're up, brother.
Augustus, always good to hear your voice. Hello, everybody listening. Yeah, we've come a long way since the Clubhouse days, my brother. I got thrown off that app for having these very types of discussions. Literally for just having discussions, open debate, open discourse, which is what our Constitution is supposed to be built upon. But I kind of wanted to bring up 2 things, Augustus, and since you're in DC now, brother, I just want to remind you one thing that is just driving me mad, brother, and if you can get into the right ears, I'm tired, Augustus, of looking up at a beautiful, clear, sunny day, and every day I sit there and I watch the planes go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, line after line after line, and then I see it aerosol over our skies. It is undeniable. So since we're on the subject of health, we need to know, what are they spraying in our atmosphere? What is in these planes? This is not a conspiracy anymore. What are these particles? What type of impact does it have on human?
No, don't bring up the chemtrails. Not till later.
Please, Augustus, I know you're down there. Please make as much noise about chemtrails as you can, brother, because it's honestly, at this point, it's undeniable. I mean, literally,
They deleted 4 of my Clubhouse accounts.
I can understand how people
You believe that? They like specifically targeted John
I'm thinking
Kitover.
everyone, wherever you are, whatever city you're in,
Like without, I mean, I contribute to the activity on the app. It's so
pay attention
stupid.
to the sky. Spend a couple days a month.
It's like if they're gonna delete my accounts to like improve behavior or something, it's not me. It's gotta be just because I record and people complain that like, oh, this all records.
I'm not as big on X. I don't know what it is. I have literally hundreds of billions of views every month. Please pay attention to the skies.
I think I hear somebody hitting a
document it for
vape as they're
yourself.
talking
You're gonna
about how
see
network
that
healthy
there's something going on above
our
Pretty
skies.
sure I heard somebody
And we
hit a
need to know
vape pen.
what it is. It's been too long. That's number one. So Augustus, please talk to whoever you got to talk to. Talk to, Mr. Kennedy. We need answers,
I
bro.
agree. Just keep
Please.
moving
I'm
forward.
begging you. That's number
Let
one.
it go.
Yeah,
It's the fastest
100%,
way to
man. And I
resolve.
just check your DMs. I just sent you a fantastic article written by Nicole Shanahan, who is the running mate of RFK Jr. for his presidential campaign. So she wrote this thing called the Dark Maha Report.
Oh, shit. They're coming to you now. They're coming to you.
Oh shit.
We said too much.
You know,
Let's let
back-
you feature back.
I just want to let people know you can actually set your clock to it. Just look on the way to work.
Maga.
On the way to work every
Oh
single
man,
day.
I
you'll
cannot
see
believe you've
it starts
cloned
out,
me.
And then,
You're my
middle of
first
the day, it
replicant.
clouds
Thank
over.
you, John.
Then it starts to clear a little bit, and then
You're
you'll see
you
it
are
back in the late
you are
afternoon, early
essentially
over.
voluntarily,
I've watched over
without me
20
even
years.
asking
Since
you,
around
to
2005.
basically clone me. I thank you,
It's
John.
like
I started
I
watching.
feel like
Yeah.
I will live
swear to
forever
God,
now.
It's like
You were pepperoni. Oh man, John, you're back.
But if you can't see it,
You're back and better than ever before, John.
You know what drives me the most?
I'd like to commission you as a unofficial lieutenant in the United States Army. Congratulations, John. You are now an officer in the U.S. military. You've done it, John.
3 lines in a row, 5 lines
Go
in a row.
forth
Looks
and
like
bring
a
your
tic-tac-toe
people
moment
justice.
in our sky. And I'm in New York. I see it every day. I've seen it in Dallas. I've seen it in LA. I've seen it in Las Vegas. Every major city. I don't see it as much in the rural areas, but it still happens.
Let me play you a little clip, John.
This is not a conspiracy. It's
I
not
shot a
This is from
a
King
video
Arthur.
6 months ago of exactly what you showed.
Yeah, you sent it to me. You sent it to me and I shared it, and that's exactly what that is. And I
Four planes and one plane off. One plane just didn't have it. It was either out or he forgot to pull the handle to let the shit out. It's so obvious.
and tell your friends and family. Say, listen, don't believe me. I understand it sounds crazy.
I guess this is for you, John. This is your knighting ceremony. Oh, I don't know why audio's not working. Alright, this has been the campaign electronic Kitover meditation prayer victory. Actually, I'm going to end this so I can knight my friend John here. In case I go down, John, continue the fight. What the fuck?
Swear faith to me, and you shall have mercy. I need battle lords such as you, and never not. Swear faith to a squire. You're right. I'm not yet a knight. You, Syrians, will knight me. Let us knight tonight. Turn off your mercy. What's this? What's this? Keep it, Syrians! In the name of God, St. Michael and St. George, I give you the right to bear arms and the power to meet justice. That duty I will solemnly obey, as knight and king. I never saw this. Rise, King Arthur. I am your humble knight, and I swear allegiance to the courage in your veins. So strong it is, its source must be infant and dragon. I doubt you no more. The West is free and with us! The wars are over! One king! Peace! Stand back! Be silent! Be still! the doom of men that they forget. Merlin, your wisdom has forged this ring. Hereafter, so that we remember our bonds, we shall always come together in a circle to hear and tell of deeds good and brave. I will build a round table where this fellowship shall meet, and a hall about the table, and a castle about the hall, and I will marry you. And the land will have an heir to wield Excalibur. Knights of the Round Table.
Okay, you're almost done with your training. Next, we're gonna do Merlin quotes from Excalibur, and that'll be it. And then you'll fully become John Kitover. John, I salute you. I hope you like this Merlin.
The Matrix is a system, Neo. That system is our enemy. But when you're inside, you look around, what do you see? Businessmen, teachers, lawyers.
Augustus is making a speech over there.
The very mind of the people we are trying to save. Most men are looking at the world through an eyes. But until we do, these people are still a part of that system. And that makes them our enemy. You have to understand, most of these people
But first, the message from Walmart, where you can find shopping and savings.
I'm super excited to join the Whatnot family. Whatnot is a live streaming platform where you guys can buy, sell, auction. That's right. So, everything on the end of it, what's all those alarms, bro? Start fucking chemtrails like the gear. It's just, there's no one that.
And that's right. Fast method. Don't get it. 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 And that's
And we got some hands raised. So, go ahead, Joe.
I dream of the dragon. I have woken him. Can't you see all around you the dragon's breath? We have drawn him out. The Duke is off to pursue your men. There he goes. Good. Mount your horse! I will transform you into the semblance of the Duke. Igraine will think her husband has returned. But the cliff, the sea, your lust will hold you up. You will float on the dragon's breath. Ride! Take on the outer shade of the Duke. Change! Transform! Now!
John, I hope his programming is
The
beneficial
art of
for you.
being free and easy wandering. Teachings from the Jauzi. The inner.
What's up for? Oh man, dinner.
The person had my hamburger helper.
Look, I love.
Yes, Merlin, that's acceptable to rights. Mend the sword. Speak the charm of making.
Hey, can you hear me? Hey everybody, this is John Kitover. I recognize former speaker's voice. Anyways, I just wanted to read some parts from this Make Our Children Healthy Again strategy PDF, because I know a lot of people probably can't read it, won't read it, don't have the time, but I'll just read like 3 bullet points if that's okay with all the other speakers.
Yeah, go for it.
So this came out on February 13th, 2025. These are some of the bullet points that I thought were interesting. Lack of physical activity and chronic stress. American children are experiencing unprecedented levels of inactivity, screen use, sleep deprivation, and chronic stress. These factors significantly contribute to the rise in chronic diseases and mental challenges. Over medicalization. There's a concerning trend of overprescribing medications to children, often driven by conflicts of interest in medical research, regulation, and practice, aka big business. This has led to unnecessary treatments and long-term health risks. This is the next bullet point is vaccine injury. HHS, in collaboration with NIAID, will investigate vaccine injuries with improved data collection and analysis, including through a new vaccine injury research program at the NIH Clinical Center that may expand to centers around the country. Autism. HHS through NIH in collaboration with CMS will study the root causes of autism, including through the real-world data RWD platform and related initiatives. There's water quality, air quality, microplastics and synthetics, prescribing patterns and impact on mental health, food for health, nutrition, repurposed drugs, childhood cancer, and AI. NIH and OSTP will develop an evidence-based and AI-driven approach to harnessing the data and technology available to transform research and clinical trials on pediatric cancer. This can be a model for future research in other critical areas. Next is precision technology, oral health and systemic disease connection, longitudinal pediatric health insights. VA, that's the Veteran Affairs, will provide the NIH critical data and metrics on ADHD, diabetes, and pharmaceutical usage among CHAMP VA beneficiaries under 18 to address long-standing gaps in pediatric research, particularly longitudinal analyses. With over 200,000 CHAMP VA beneficiaries in this age group, VA is uniquely positioned to track children's health journeys across the U.S. and will enter into a data sharing agreement with NIH, excluding personally identifiable information to inform national strategies, early intervention, appropriate care utilization, and mental health policy. So the government's going to use the VA and 200,000 children to do experimentation, apparently, or testing. Next is clinical trial network, electromagnetic radiation, mental health addiction research, rural tribal health, artificial intelligence. Big emphasis on AI. So that's only page 6, up to 6 of 18 pages. There were some specific things I wanted to call out, but if people have a chance to look at this, so this is the vaccine framework. DPC and HHS will develop a framework focused on ensuring America has the best childhood vaccine schedule, addressing vaccine injuries, modernizing American vaccines with transparent gold standard science, gold standard, correcting conflicts of interest and misaligned incentives, ensuring scientific and medical freedom. Um, Early childhood physical activity, there's so much in here. So this is agricultural deregulation. Streamline organic certification processes, reduce costs for small farms transitioning to organic practices. Eliminate unnecessary bureaucratic barriers for community-supported agriculture programs. Reduce regulatory compliance burdens for small farms. Streamline digitize USDA application processes. Generate reliable access to credit. Improve land acquisition permitting process. So it's, unfortunately, as someone who has had many accounts deleted for speaking out against the COVID-19 vaccines, I don't get the feeling that this is like any kind of prohibition or regulation on mRNA manufacturing, distribution, marketing. I don't know if people saw yesterday, but the Pediatrics Association group with 30,000 members came out and said that they are not going to comply with Secretary Kennedy's updated policy on juvenile or pediatric COVID-19 vaccination, and they said they recommending parents vaccinate their children with COVID-19 vaccines. So the mainstream media, through Sinclair Broadcasting or Time Warner and CNN, is still putting out mass messaging to the American population to vaccinate your juvenile children or anybody with COVID-19 vaccines. So we are still living in a medical, tyrannical industrial complex with a monopoly on the media that is still encouraging all Americans to get the COVID-19 vaccine. And unfortunately, that is not in alignment with the new government and Secretary Kennedy. So also, I don't know if you saw, but Jenny McCarthy also came out and said that she was targeted and attacked by Big Pharma for speaking out against the child COVID-19 or the child vaccination schedule, which is, I think it's 79 injections or 59 injections. So we're living 72. In 72. So we're living in medical tyranny, and Augustus is doing a great job organizing, helping people spread messaging and fight back. But it is a small group. Share the room, add everybody as a friend. The network grows stronger the more connected we become. So thanks for letting me read all that, and I hope everybody has a great day.
No, that was a really great read and great take. Jenny McCarthy, she actually has been commenting on my Instagram channel, supporting the work that I'm doing on that platform. Jenny McCarthy, great person. Shout her out. So, with that being said, let's go to Prashant.
Yeah, good morning, everybody. Or good afternoon, wherever you're at. It's morning for me here in Hawaii. But, for the first time, I think maybe some real change is happening. Reports are easy. Words are easy. I'll believe it more when we start seeing the real change in effect. One of the reasons I have hope, please let me finish before anybody jumps in by getting set off, because I'm not trying to set anybody off. But this is one of the reasons I have hope. I just found an article this morning. It says Trump's afterlife fear sparks fresh health concerns as president admits, I'm not doing well. Well, I've said it a number of times in the past months that Trump looks really, really sick, sicker than he's ever been in all the 12 years we've had him in the public sphere. He looks really bad. And I've studied the science of the mind, a 3,000-year-old philosophy and science. And one of the only things that really makes people change is fear. And one of the worst fears that humans have is fear of death. So why am I saying this? Because I think Donald Trump right now is facing fear of death. That's what that article says that I just pointed out to you. I can share it if anybody wants to see it. But that's why I have hope. Because personally, I think this is one of the most dark men that's ever been in our White House. But when you face fear of death, that can be, it's not always, but it can be a catalyst
So I just went around and clicked everybody's profile and added everybody. If everybody else could do the same, because again, this communication, this room, this organizing effort, the more connected we are, the stronger the messaging and the distribution will be, and the stronger we will all be as a group.
Give you follow, brother. Gotcha.
Let's go to Johnny.
Hey everybody, what's going on? Yeah, I guess my hope for this whole pesticide thing is, well, this is a draft, and the pesticide part, maybe they're working on it, and they're like, just want a clean draft, and this is the part that they're kind of still working out. Secondly, Kennedy's all about the gold standard science coming to what's causing all these chronic disease, and I believe that main culprit after the mRNA tech is glyphosate. I think these studies are going to show that. And if those studies aren't done yet, maybe it's a strategic decision to focus on the other things now, and then when those studies start coming, we can focus on the pesticides a little more. So that's my hope I got there. I put up in the top nest. We got a big account. We got what's his name?
Oh, here on Clubhouse. Well, this is on X, by the way.
The Vigilant Fox is posting about these liability shields.
Go to X and look up USA_Augustus.
Help get the word out about that. He just posted that an hour ago, so we can help him get the word out there.
That's his X profile.
Yeah,
It's in
the
the
same
chat.
way they went after a liability shield for the childhood.
Join the room on there. You can jump out of this Clubhouse room if you want. Join the X space. Or if you want, you got another burner, just live stream this X space into Clubhouse and create a room called
took jury trials, the first
Secretary
Amendment they
Kennedy
took away in
Vaccine
1986. We've seen
Regulation,
what
something
happened.
like that.
They went, 5-6x with the vaccine schedule, depending on.
Actually, John, I'm gonna recreate this room.
And
Change the title.
yeah, we can't trust serial criminals to do the right thing. And it's there's a lot of overlap between big pharma, big ag. Of course, let's be the medicine. You go back to that, but this mRNA tech, it's just turning us into guinea pigs, right? It's completely against nature, whether you believe in a creator or just even evolution. So, yeah, and it's the same thing with GMOs. Experimenting with our plants, with the microbes, with the soil. This stuff's dangerous. They could be creating all sorts of blights and famines, and that's in their financial interest, right? So is it on purpose when they collapse our food supply and then make all the more money? We saw they made so much money from COVID. So yeah, this stuff's really no good. I like what our friend Nooney was saying earlier. Yeah, we're all on the same side. They are masters of the arts of divided movements like ours. We're all on the same side. We got to make our food and meds safe again. These are the two main culprits. Yeah, I'm right there with everybody yelling about mRNA tech. This is more urgent. But yeah, we got to keep pounding the table about both these issues. It's unacceptable. It's a fertility crisis that we're in, guys. We're the sickest country on the planet. We got to do something about that. Our kids are being gaslit. Their hormones aren't firing correctly because we're drowning in toxins. We're drowning in endocrine disruptors. And our kids are getting gaslit like you can choose your gender. I mean, something that is so preposterous, so ridiculous, is child abuse. And they normalize it. And that's the power of the media we're up against. So guys, yeah, don't neglect. I think they really profit from this phenomenon of learned helplessness. They want us to try to give up and throw in the towel. And I get this attitude from way too many people. And I'm glad it's your generation has to deal with this. It's like, dude, my generation is impoverished. We're spending 2 to 3 times on our health care. Prices are outrageous. It's all hands on deck. If you're retired, if whatever stage of life is, you got a little extra time, when we call a congressman, that balances out the lobbying efforts of these tyrants, right? Let our public servants know what the real issue is. They're liars on the other side, okay? And they sound convincing. So they're in our representatives here with all this nonsense. One of the narratives of Big Ag right now is
they're not going after a liability shield, which is just bizarre that anybody could even believe that, because they're using the same defense right now in the Supreme Court to try to get 67,000 cases of American families with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma with cancer who have gotten that from Monsanto's Roundup. They're trying to get that thrown out of court using the same legal technicality that they're pushing for in this legislation. So yeah, we got to revoke all these liability shields. Thomas Massey has brought forth a great bill about pulling back the PrEP Act. Representative Gosar has a bill in the House right now about restoring accountability for the childhood immunization schedule. And of course, we got to say no to this new Section 453 that's about the Big Ag. So, yeah, great time to call a congressman and tell him, listen, our constitutional rights are non-negotiable, and they need to stand for us. So, yeah, thanks for hosting. I guess this repost that link all the way to the left and the top of the nest if you like. There's one Foxes did a great write-up on it. So,
Okay, thanks for sharing, Johnny. Go ahead, Hope.
Thank you. So, I listen. I'm a space hopper. I listen to a lot of people, and a lot of the time I really retain it. So when I guess said that there would probably be something coming out around August or September, I've just been holding off, expecting that RFK Jr. is going to be doing something about the vaccinations. I have faith. When it comes to the media, they're propagandists. They're never going to tell you anything positive. Why? Because fear sells. And I can tell you that I have been falsely imprisoned. I have been tortured. I'm still dealing with the lawfare 6 years later. I have lived in fear for so long. And I woke up this morning and I said, you know what? It's given me the power, the love, and sound mind. He has not given me a spirit of fear. So I will not be reading the New York Times. I will not be reading any of those things that are going to try to put fear into my heart, because I believe in God and I believe that there is a plan here. And if you don't think that this is not a war of good and evil, I can tell you that in 2022, when I lived in Texas, the guy that I was dating, his grandmother came to visit for Mother's Day. She's bilingual, and when she came, she said that she was on a bus that was filled with the males that were coughing and not covering their mouths. After she went back, she went to the hospital and was admitted for the pneumonia. They released her. 2 days later, she went back and she passed away. So while these people were telling us that we were going to kill everyone if we didn't get the jab, we're gonna be, demonized for not wearing paper diapers on our faces. These people were doing this to us while they were importing illegals on buses that we know nothing about. We don't know what kind of criminal history they have. We don't know their vaccine history. And then they put them in our children's schools. So don't think for a second that this is not a battle of good and evil, because it definitely is. But I believe that God is going to win. And the last thing that I want to say is that, even though there has been maybe a little more of a delay than we expected or hoped for with the vaccines, RFK did step up to something very important, and that is kratom. This feel-free is being sold at gas stations, and it is being marketed as something that is completely healthy and natural, when in reality, it is more addictive than opiates, and it is deadly. actually my friend who is 41, he's 41 years old, and he took kratom because he had broken his collarbone. And when the surgeon tried to reattach it, he did not do a good job on the surgery. So my friend was taking the kratom, and I was like, man, that stuff's so bad for you, you know? And he said that he hadn't taken it for a few days, and then I didn't hear from him for 2 or 3 days, and I got the call. He had a seizure. My friend was 41 years old, and kratom took his life last year. So
I've been using kratom for the last 10 years. I do understand what you're saying, and especially the ones in the gas stations, but it's not as black and white as you think. Now, I'm going to let you finish, but I've been drinking kratom tea for over a decade. That's what I have my thoughts of that, but I agree with you. All this stuff in the gas stations, all these, nobody knows what's in them, so it's not just the kratom itself, but...
Yeah, I mean, it's just like anything that needs to be regulated, or, you know, like there needs to be more studies into it. There may be people that know how to take it correctly, but I don't think that it needs to be out there at a gas station for anyone who's 18 and above to be buying.
I agree with that. It shouldn't be in gas stations at all. There shouldn't be a synthetic version of it. And from what I'm hearing in the back channels, they're actually getting ready to approve a version of it that's going to be more addictive than heroin. So it is something that should be regulated because it's operating under the black market, meaning for the longest, this kratom is, if I'm not mistaken, it's a part of the pepper family. If I'm not mistaken, it's part of the pepper family. If you take the leaves and you make like an organic tea with it, it's great. But what they're doing is they're turning it into a powder, which is like making it much, much stronger. Okay? Like it's being abused. And what's happening is a lot of former drug addicts are using it, and it's actually been beneficial to them. So they use it as a crutch to get off of heroin and other drugs, and also to not go on painkillers because it does have like a pain-killing type effect. It numbs the body. It can be addictive, especially for people that were addicts, but especially the things that they're selling in these stores. If you abuse kratom, it does have an addictive trait to it, and the withdrawal symptoms can mimic, not as bad as coming off heroin, but pretty bad. So there are people that definitely abuse it. The products that are sold in gas stations, stores, and all over are very dangerous. I do not recommend them. If you ever want to try kratom, it's something you should be doing at like a kava bar. You know, the organic version of it, not the synthetic version, because a lot of people are dying from it. And it does need to be regulated, and I'm sorry to hear about your friend. So I agree with you on that aspect, but it's not in black and white, and it would hurt a lot of people if it was made illegal because it has saved a lot of lives also. That's the other side of the argument.
Yeah, well, I just think that people need to be a lot more careful. I don't think that the public is informed enough about this stuff. The feel free and the way that it's marketed and the way that it's just sold at gas stations, it just infuriated me so bad. But, you know, I'm glad that he said something about it, and I hope that we do see that come off of gas station shelves. That should not be allowed. But yes, as far as like the vaccines and stuff, like people are definitely still pissed. And just because like we haven't been screaming about it lately, I think that we're waiting on RFK to do something, and we're looking forward to hearing like that they need to be completely stopped, because after my mom's first booster, she had to go on life support. And I had to go in there and make sure that she was asleep so that I could even sit here and talk about it. Because every time she hears anything about it, she gets furious. And my mother is the most loving and sweet woman in the world. She doesn't get mad
Except about this.
She hears anything about the COVID shots. When she found out that they were still giving the shots, she got really pissed off. So yeah, like I have to wait until she's asleep to even be able to talk about it. But yeah, we're so mad.
Okay, guys, so I have an article. I also want to welcome Falu to the stage. Welcome, brother. How are you doing tonight?
Great, thank you. And you know what? One thing that Hope said, all the places they were putting people, like, don't forget Hope, the old folks home, you know, not just schools and the buses, and they were putting them everywhere. And also where that I was in Michigan, so when that one kid beat up the elderly people at the old folks home and got everybody sick with COVID at the old folks home, that was another one. I mean, very strategic, everything that happened.
100%. 100%. Unfortunately, I think everybody here, can identify with that story. So that's the sad part, but it's true.
Hey, this is John. Can I just say that, getting angry to the environment is going to happen. But it's apps like this where we're actually not being censored, because when they rolled out the vaccine in 2021, 2020, literally former CIA, FBI employees were working at Twitter and literally running back messaging to the White House and deleting and censoring and controlling the narrative. That type of manipulation is extremely dangerous. And this is still the only app where you can still speak out against the COVID-19 vaccines. On Facebook, at Google, you will be labeled a medical misinformationist, and they are using the World Health Organization to essentially formulate all their doctrine on what type of communication can and can't be held. So, Augustus, for many years now, has been organizing rooms to fight back against big pharma and big health insurance, which all relies on Medicare, Medicaid, which is $4 trillion a year that we taxpayers are literally funding our own death and demise through groupthink and stupidity. So I say everyone here, at each other and form our little parallel society so we can fight back against the fraud, waste, abuse, and scam that Medicare, Medicaid perpetuates on us by giving it to big pharma and big health insurance providers. Our money, our dollars, our substance, all borrowed and spent from the Federal Reserve.
100%. So I just want to get into this article, guys. It's only like a couple-minute read, but basically it breaks down the leaked MAHA report going hard on vaccines. I'm really excited about it. I hope you are too. Please repost the space and let's get this to a wider audience. A leaked draft of the long-awaited report detailing the Make America Healthy Again Commission strategy for tackling childhood chronic disease has so far drawn mixed reactions from health advocates. The document addresses vaccine safety, medical freedom, and possible health risks linked to wireless radiation, but failed to mention pesticide bans. Although this is a draft document, we are very encouraged by the MAHA Commission's recommendations to President Trump, said Mary Holland, the CEO of Children's Health Defense. She added, and I quote, "The strategies in the draft report show a clear shift in government focus toward protecting public health and preventing childhood chronic diseases, instead of relying on the same failed approaches that have only made our children sicker," end quote. Still, she said the draft left room for improvement, especially when it comes to eliminating pesticides. Every category of pesticide has been linked to neurological disorders in humans, posing severe health risks, she said. On Monday, Politico leaked the draft, which, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, you could get the 18-page draft at the top of the space. Just one over at the top of the space. It says draft of my report. It was leaked on Monday, calling the document quite industry friendly. The draft is being circulated among the White House officials and has yet to be finalized. Last week, the New York Times reported it had obtained an earlier draft that suggested good news for the food and agricultural industries. However, at the time, White House spokesman told CNN, any documents purporting to be the second MAHA report should be disregarded as speculative literature. The document was leaked close to 100 days after the MAHA Commission, led by U.S. Health Secretary RFK Jr.
issued its initial report on May 22nd. The earlier report focused on identifying key drivers of the childhood chronic disease epidemic. This month's report contains recommendations for steps the federal government can take to address the epidemic. As the press time today, the final report had yet to be published. Here are a few highlights from the draft: vaccine injuries, medical freedom, and conflicts of interest. The draft spelled out a vaccine framework to guide the government's approach to vaccines that ensures the U.S. has the best childhood vaccine schedule and addresses vaccine injuries. The framework also focuses on correcting conflicts of interest and misaligned incentives, and ensuring scientific and medical freedom. The Commission charged the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the federal government's Domestic Policy Council to develop the framework. HHS has taken actions this year in support of the new framework. In March, RFK Jr. announced a plan to create an agency within the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, aka we all know them as the CDC, focused on vaccine injuries as well as COVID and Lyme disease. In June, the CDC's new group of vaccine advisors committed to studying the cumulative effect of the U.S. childhood vaccine schedule. Excuse me. I don't know. I had like a burp, but it wasn't a burp. I don't know what that was.
That felt painful, dude.
Sorry about that, guys. The CDC currently recommends at least 70 doses of 15 different vaccines for children and adolescents up to the age of 18. These reactions stand in stark contrast to past federal regimes. Holland, remember, is the CEO of the Children's Health Defense. She says, creating a new vaccine framework is long overdue. Correcting conflicts of interest, improving transparency, and removing initiatives are all welcome changes. The draft also stated that the HHS would launch a vaccine injury research program at the National Institute of Health Clinical Center to improve vaccine injury data collection and analysis. The program may expand to centers across the United States. Holland said she was most encouraged by this addition. The Children's Health Defense Chief Scientist Officer Brian Hooker agreed, and he says, the study of the long-term safety and efficiency of vaccines, vaccine components, and cumulative vaccine schedule has never been done with any type of scientific rigor or veracity. My hope is that HHS will capitalize on this opportunity to prevent vaccine adverse events and acknowledge that the very high prevalence of vaccine injury due to the past fox guarding the hen house via pharma capture of HHS agencies. End quote. Which, by the way, I met him. I met Brian Hooker, the Chief Scientist Officer at CHD. What a great guy. A lawsuit filed last week against the CDC alleges the agency violated federal law by failing to study the cumulative impact of childhood vaccine schedule on children's health. Wireless radiation and health risks. According to the draft report, HHS will partner with other federal agencies and departments to study the effects of electromagnetic radiation on health and highlight areas that need more attention, including new technologies to ensure safety and efficiency. Miriam Eckensfelds, I don't know, that's a weird last name. Miriam, director of CHD's electromagnetic radiation and wireless program, pointed to a 2008 report by the National Research Council that called for research on the impact of wireless devices and cell towers on kids, fetuses, and pregnant women.
Damn, the space got boomed. Amazing, isn't it? All right, this has been COVID-19 vaccines, Big Pharma, Medicare, Medicaid, debt fraud with candidate Congressman John Kitover. Go to johnforcongress.com. Thanks for tuning in. Let's see what else is on X Spaces at the moment. This is called Trolls, Traitors, and Transparency, the War for the UAP Narrative.
Nature of bodies and pilots in these holy vessels that seem to transfigure according to all these myriad conditions that can be either intentionally or unintentionally tweaked.
Well, not only transfigure, but they actually adapt and create according to local properties of physics.
100%.
Well, that to me suggests intelligent design of intent. You're coming to a new environment and you want to be a part of it, but you have to integrate yourself into that environment, and you actually have to change yourself to some degree so that you can interact with that environment.
But some of it is not. There are degrees of it. Some souls who traverse the bardo, the liminal spaces between existence and corporeality, they accidentally end up places, or they are just caught on the wind. And so a lot of that is the case, like the wild puppy bear.
Right.
But either they possess or they go back through the process and emerge once again as the intent fractal, which I've called meme law.
Yeah.
Because it's like, well, if that's the smallest aspect of intention, then it seems mimetic to me.
Yeah.
So I call it meme law.
In a matter of observation and prosperity of intelligence that's merging and moving through the cosmos, if you by happen chance come across an environment that is profitable and possible for your intelligence to continue to experience within that environment, as soon as you come across it, you're going to report back to whatever source intelligence that there is that this is a highly profitable, highly possible environment for experience. So
Yes, dude. Okay, so in the Buddhist pantheon, in the wheel of life, the human incarnation, like we said earlier, these behaviors that we're finding in this human vessel. This is the most. This place is poised. This particular incarnation is poised for that ascension. And it is preferred. It is the preferred premium incarnation. And that is why.
Yeah, exactly. It's correct for it. Exactly. It's right for it. And whether or not that is a homeopathic homegrown understanding and explanation of civilization versus a cosmic universal appreciation.
Yeah, and in essence, what you said about the same. So they believe, the Roman Catholics state that they believe that there's a seen and unseen baptism or a seen and unseen salvation. So they believe that they are saved 100% definitively, and that the Protestants may or may not be saved. Yeah, that's their claim. It's kind of like when you get into like the URJ and shit like that. Like, Orthodox Jews are gonna be like, the URJ, they're a little fucking weird shit. They're still Jews.
I think the
It's the same kind of shit. The Catholics and the Catholics and Orthodox Church are just Orthodox. Protestants can be nice people, but they are wrong.
There's really not much mention of banning pesticides and stuff like that because of things with the EPA and USDA.
He's got to control, he has to take control of what he can control right now. He can't start stepping on their toes when his house is not ordered. So, HHS, has the ability to, which they do, change the vaccine schedule, so forth. That's what we need to do first.
I agree. I think a lot of people in the space actually agree with you, my love, because we've got a lot of anti-vaxxers up here on stage, and the title of the space is, you know, it goes hard on vaccines, which I think is good because I feel like they've been underrepresented and they feel like as if they haven't been heard and they haven't, you know, they've been kind of like ostracized from the Maha community, and I've been telling them, I've been telling them just be patient, you know, come August, come September, there's going to be some major changes, and this is just the beginning of the end for them. And it's funny, one of the listeners, this lady Hope, here actually remembered my predictions, and she was like, dude, I've been holding out until it's time, and now what you said has come true. So
Well, I'm just not sure why this headline is being posed as, oh, it's hard on vaccines but soft on pesticides. You know, just a few weeks ago, everyone was saying, oh, he's going hard against big food and not against the vaccines. I mean, can anyone ever acknowledge that this is decades and decades worth of corruption, legislation, and foundation that he has to undo? I mean,
well, babe, the thing is, strategy implemented by big pharma, by big food, by big media, in order to dismantle the momentum of this movement.
I want people to realize that. You know, first off, just realize that perfection is the enemy of good, number one. Number two, there is nobody working harder in Trump's cabinet than Robert F. Kennedy Jr. And number three, you know, we have to support. We have to support from the grassroots. We cannot be attacking our guy in there. We can't be doing that. So, you know, I just want to keep fighting.
When I look like a professional doctor.
Thanks for that, sweetheart. I've been telling them that for a while now. Not everybody wants to listen though. Everybody wants to be a critic. What's that phrase though? The man in the arena.
Read that quote. It's so good. Read that quote.
What I manipulate.
Teddy Roosevelt, man in the arena quote.
Always
Okay, read it.
take photos
Let's see on my Twitter. Look at that speech.
with you. To lie to everyone.
So it is not the critic who
You see, I
counts,
have billions
not
and
the man
billions
who points
when I look
out
like a professional
how
doctor
the strong man stumbles, or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who was actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust, and blood and sweat, who strives
Valiantly, who errs, who comes short again and again because there is no effort without error and shortcoming, but who does actually strive to do the deeds, who knows great enthusiasms, the great devotions, who spends himself in a worthy cause, who at the best knows in the end the triumph of high achievement, and who at the worst, if he fails, at least fails while daring greatly, so that his place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who neither know victory or defeat. Teddy Roosevelt. That was beautiful.
Yeah, she's a better reader than me.
She has a cute accent too.
She likes your accent.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, she's from New York. I'm from Philly. We live in DC. It's kind of trippy. I never thought I'd be here in the swamp, but it's cool. You know, it's so weird. Like the other day, we went to go get ice cream, and guess who? Well, we walk up to the ice cream shop, and there's all of these bodyguards surrounding the shop. So I'm like, oh, it's probably closed. Or my wife says, oh, it's probably closed. And I'm like, well, let me ask. So I asked the bodyguard, hey, can we go in there? Are you guys closed? And he's like, oh, yeah, no,
Grayson's
We see
my
like
bad.
100 little kids running around in there. We turn the corner, and guess who it is? Pete Hegseth with his like 10 kids. How funny is that? And they were with Secret Service. That's the bodyguards were with Secret Service. So
Yeah, I saw that somebody's in trouble for doxing them or something.
oh, they should get in trouble for doxing them. They're a great family.
We're not genocidal.
Who's gonna show up and go fight? Tech security, social service.
Secret Service.
Yeah, whatever. Good luck. Doxing. It's like, here's his address. Go get killed.
Tell you they should be carpet bombing Gaza.
Yeah, but that's like kind of what it's like being in DC is like you just randomly run into Pete Hegseth. Go ahead, Prashant, and then we'll go to Carol.
Yeah, thanks, Augustus. Yeah, I wish I could run into Pete Hegseth because I'd have a talk with the man because I think Pete Hegseth is a victim of the lies that have perpetuated the darkness in our country for many years. But I won't go further into detail on that right now because this is not the time. But I certainly wish I could have a man-to-man conversation with this gentleman. I'm 75 years old, so I've been around the block a few more years than he has, and I've seen the lies about our policy. You know, we have a really good conversation here today, and we have somebody in the audience who I'd really like to hear from, and somebody who I think, if Trump really wants to change, should appoint as the head of the USDA, and that's Ed Bourgeois. If Trump's listening or anybody else is listening down below that can get the word to Trump, this is the man that we need to head the USDA. He may not want it, but at least he should be a top advisor because the man knows about healthy food and agriculture. And the last thing I'll say this time is because I don't want to go along too long, and we don't have to get into a fight about what I'm going to say, but we should completely eliminate any vaccine requirement for any child in this country because there is no vaccine that doesn't do harm. Not one. The World Health Organization had a meeting a couple of years ago on vaccine hesitancy. And one of the main speakers, the head of that meeting, you know what she said? You can hear her say it. She said to the whole group from all over the world, she said, we are in a very dangerous position. We've put ourselves in a very dangerous position because you know what we've done? We have substituted vaccine immunity for natural immunity. And that's a very dangerous position we've put ourselves in. This is one of the top people in the World Health Organization admitting that relying on vaccines has put us in a very dangerous position. She said it. I can find that video and you can listen to her say it. She's admitting that vaccines aren't the best way to go. Because the best way to go is learn about your immune system and make it strong and stop doing things that weaken it. I'm the living proof of it. I am 75 years old. I haven't been to a doctor in 55 years.
This guy's been to a doctor in 55 years.
He's scared for his life now and trying to rely on doctors who don't know anything about real health, the vast majority of them. If Trump or his advisors are listening, if Trump wants to get healthy, bring me to the White House. If he does what I said, I'll guarantee Trump can get much healthier than he is. And I'll stop for now, and I apologize for my anger. But my anger is about the children. We're ruining their lives. We're ruining their future. We gotta stop it. Thank you.
I believe we feel the same way. You know, we're tired of being taken advantage of and lied to over and over again, having not enough information to make our own decisions. It's disgusting. I agree with you.
Yeah, thanks for sharing. Go ahead, Carol.
Hey, thanks, Augustus. So most people just call me Apothecary, but listening in, one of the things that has come up, and this happened as soon as and a lot of people in the health freedom movement said, no, that's not important. What's important are the shots, the vaccines, specifically COVID. And, we got to deal with that first. But then the food thing started coming up, with the food dyes and the Fruit Loops and all that. And then the other side, a division within Maha. Like, we all want the same thing, but this divide came in. And the other side's like, the Fruit Loops and the food dyes, that's not important. Get the shots off. And that was kind of ignored. And then, other things have come in. We've got the president's fitness test now, and they're like, that's not important. Deal with the shots. And so there's this division keeps kind of going back and forth, and it's kind of like Mrs. Augustus said that Kennedy's doing a lot. Like, he is doing a lot. The shots aren't off yet. They haven't stopped that yet. And as motion steps are being taken towards that end, there's pushback from, I think it's more than half a dozen health-related organizations, including the American Academy of Pediatrics, against that. And we have to keep some things in mind. First of all, Department of Defense project. Just like Kennedy cannot, step in and start, regulating things in the EPA or creating, policy in the EPA. He can't do it in the Department of Defense either. So next time you see Hegseth, ask him about that. Why are these shots keep going? With the EUA and these shots. Another thing people have to remember is he is standing up against, with the FDA, CDC, everything under the HHS, he is up against the most powerful and the wealthiest industry on planet Earth. And to be able to do anything that is going to go up against that industry, he better make sure every T is crossed and every I is dotted. And he's really good at that. He has taken on major corporations and successfully sued and won lawsuits against them, including some of these governmental organizations in his life where he was Secretary of HHS. I agree, we've got to support him, we've got to stand behind him on all of these issues, all of these things he's doing that is for the betterment of our health. We've got to call it out on things like promoting wearables. I'm sorry, if you want to wear wearables, wear your wearables, but I don't want anything telling me, okay, you're going to have to wear a wearable or else. No. If I don't want to wear it, I'm not going to wear it. Or a new vaccine that's going to, mimic the human immune system and be like a mold vaccine. No, develop whatever you want to, but don't come at me with that side. So, we've got to stand our ground and call him out where we feel like he's crossing the line, but at the same time, we've got to support him on these other issues as well and keep the pressure on about the shots. We do have a voice. We can put the pressure on. There's a lot of ways that we can make phone calls, that we can tag him in posts. Those things, it might feel like it's not making any, it is a will. So I just want to encourage everybody, I don't want to be patient. Look, I've been waiting on some of this stuff since 2003. Food dyes and other vaccines and there's so many things that I've been fighting against for a very long time. I don't want to be patient anymore. I'm getting old. I want to retire. But I want him to get it right the first time, or somebody's going to come in behind him and undo everything. And that's all I wanted to say. Thank you. Well, that's one point. One more quick thing I got is all of those things, let's take vaccines and just scoot them to the
Justice. I just want to kind of respond to Apostle Carol a little bit regarding, and I totally agree with everything that you say, Apostle Carol, but one of the things, initially I was a little bit harsh on Brother Kennedy, but now I'm beginning to realize that this is something deeper and a little bit more nefarious, a little bit more incestuous. So when it comes to health, from the Maha approach, we're concerned, at least I'm concerned about health across the spectrum, both spiritually, intellectually, physically, emotionally. And one of the things that they've done across the board, our educational system has been poisoned, our food supply has been poisoned, our drug system has been poisoned across the board. And the way how you kind of notice a little bit, when you take a look at a guy like Fauci, for all the crimes that he's been committed, he's been able to walk a free man with no consequence for what he did. Now, the nexus between him and my analysis and what I've kind of been able to deduce is why aren't these people being prosecuted? Well, you know what reveals why they're being prosecuted is the Epstein files. Because when you look at the Epstein files and the child trafficking, which is horrific in nature, what you realize that under the guise of national security, these people have been able to commit atrocities known to man and provide cover under the national security apparatus. Now, if you think in terms of Epstein, Fauci is not only part of the National Institute of Health, but also a CIA double agent, then it makes sense because the intelligence community will protect him. So to me, we have basically a shadow government going on here that's totally taken over our complete fabric of our society that we're going up against. And this is I wouldn't say this is a new animal, but it's finally revealed itself in many ways. You can't tell me for the hundreds of billions of dollars that we have spent on our national security apparatus to this day, we can't even find out where the origination of COVID was. Let me tell you something. They know where it was. It originated as a National Security Defense Department, whatever you want to call it, National Security Agency, bioweapons, for lack of a better term. And this is the problem. And our food supply, when you think of our food supply and our medicines are ultimately bioweapons make us all sick, then it all makes sense. Because they will go at length to protect the National Security Agency overall. So we're up against something a little bit more horrific in nature, and that's why I'm a little bit more charitable to some of the guys we have up there, like a Tulsi, like a Kennedy, and like a Cash Patel, even though I think Cash could be a little bit stronger. So it's going to be really a monumental effort to really get around your back, because we're seeing now, despite who we send up there, the national security apparatus just takes over, and I landed there.
Hey, Augustus, can I respond just real quick? Brother?
Yeah.
Brother, yeah, 100%. That is, and you are an example of the reasons why I'm watching my little piece of the puzzle. You're watching the national security apparatus. We've got people watching different pieces of the puzzle, and now we can come together. We can put our pieces on the table and see how they fit. I love that. And right now I'm doing a deep dive into the eugenics behind all the poisoning that we are undergoing. And this is why I tell people, Maha yourself. We can't wait on Kennedy and his policies. We can take control of what we bring into our homes, into our bodies, into our lives, and we can Maha ourselves. Yeah, we've got to have the changes happen. It has to happen. But in the meantime, we all have the power to do some things in our own lives to prevent this poisoning, because I'm telling you, eugenics is real.
Yeah, let's go to Joe.
Yeah, I was actually pushing his mention. He has become a meaningful minority already. I mean, one of the parents in my state are not vaccinating at all. And that seems to be a contagion that's a wonderful one, because you can let them tell the pediatrician you're fired, because they are listening to the biggest threat to our children, the pediatrician. Now that's sad.
out of the deal. Because many of us got biological issues in terms of screening Parkinson's, and everybody of us got asthma and allergies, and one of us had sclerosis. I'm starting to think about that, realizing that the vaccine stuff developed, what does that mean developed on one side of the body look like? Things like scoliosis. So we're hard against even our local health department for one reporting our kids, and I would even suggest that you contact them about the lead poisoning. And I've already got very by coincidence, because I've been thinking about all the countermeasures and shots, not just COVID. I already have protocols in place to reduce the recovery from lead poisoning. And another definitely one is, when you have lead intoxication, you become more violent. So it wasn't an accident that I was separated from my wife, or my daughter out.
Okay, this is candidate Congressman John Kitover. We're about to go live on a big Zoom live stream podcast, and I hope you enjoy it.